An on-campus fraternity faces suspension, how students are responding to the university's investigation, and what's next for the students.
After recent arrests, county officials are planning to join forces to combat a national issue.
Students in colleges right now are prime targets for human trafficking and pimps.
A crushing loss for the men's soccer team. Hear what they had to say after the buzzer.
Piss. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Welcome to ELN Local News. I'm Gary Grumbach.
And I'm Jasmine Turner. We start tonight with the latest on Sigma Pi fraternity's hazing suspension. According to Dean Janelyn Patterson, Sigma Pi's president was scheduled to meet with her today to appeal the 3-year suspension that came after a university investigation of the fraternity.
Our Meredith Stuss has been following the story and is here with more. Meredith?
Thanks, Jasmine and Gary. Associate Vice President of Student Life, Janelyn Patterson, says the final decision on whether Sigma Pi will stay on campus will be made by the end of the week. Let's recap on what we know on the events leading up to today's meeting. Dean of Students Smith Jackson says starting in mid-October, the university began an investigation on Sigma Pi and suspended all activities for the chapter. Dean Jackson says ELN's honor board met on October 28th, and then Associate Dean of Students Jodine Schmiederer and Dean Patterson suspended the fraternity. The chapter requested an appeal of that decision, which brings us to today. From here, Dean Jackson says that in addition to any ELN sanctions, Sigma Pi International will make a decision on whether the chapter will lose its charter. If this happens, the fraternity will no longer be recognized on ELN's campus. We reached out to more than 350 men who are a part of the ELN Sigma Pi Epsilon Theta chapter Facebook page. We also knocked on the front door of the fraternity's on-campus house to give the fraternity brothers a chance to tell their side of the story. All either had no comment or directed us to Dean Jackson. We did receive some comments on our web article, and we asked anyone from Sigma Pi who would like to comment on camera to contact us directly at elonlocalnews@gmail.com. In my interview, Jackson said that the university is not restricting the fraternity from talking. I spoke to Dean Jackson about the hazing culture, which extends beyond the Greek courts.
Often people don't even think it's hazing. They say it's just tradition.
ELN defines hazing as, quote, any action or situation created either directly or through innuendo that jeopardizes the student's psychological, emotional, or physical well-being, regardless of the person's willingness to participate. Dr. Jackson says the university looks into roughly 3 to 5 hazing reports per year that are usually anonymous. Dean Jackson himself was hazed in college and says the hazing culture now is much different.
In retrospect, I wish that I would have had the fortitude to say, I'm not going along with that. It was the norm back then. And so I think, if anything, it's made me think, you don't need it. If it's not building people up, you don't need it.
Jackson says that while joining organizations are an important part of college, there needs to be a different way to bond.
You can provide challenge. You can provide opportunities. But I think it's just kind of lazy, doing whatever's happened before. I think we can be a lot more creative and a lot more constructive.
If you or someone you know has been affected by hazing, you can call ELN's anonymous hotline 336-278-HAZE or Campus Police and Safety. Gary and Jasmine, back to you.
Thanks, Meredith. The Alamance County Sheriff's Office says they are pursuing other investigations today after 3 suspects were arrested in late October for the human trafficking case of a 19-year-old girl in Alamance County. Johnson said the girl was trafficked from Florida to Graham, just a 20-minute drive from ELN.
I can tell you right now, students in colleges right now are prime targets for human trafficking and pimps.
Alamance County Sheriff Terry Johnson is working on implementing a special victims unit here in the county to combat this national issue. Last year, the National Human Trafficking Resource Center reported 623 calls from victims in North Carolina. Johnson says the unit, expected to begin working in December, will incorporate the county's juvenile, human trafficking, and sex offender officers.
And we're going to put them all together in a unit and put them at the Alamance County Family Justice Center.
To show how close to home this issue is, Johnson showed me an advertising website the sheriff's office used when investigating prostitution in Greensboro, Graham, and Elon.
There's another Elon girl.
Johnson says many times human trafficking starts with online dating sites, something college students need to be careful of.
Many of them wind up meeting somebody they think is the greatest guy in the world, and his whole purpose of meeting that individual is to take them and force them into sexual servitude.
Johnson stresses the vital part the public plays in bringing justice to these victims.
They see a lot of traffic going in and out of a house. It's usually one of two things: prostitution or drugs. And it's up to us to find out if it is either, and if it is, which one it is, and deal with it.
Victoria Chapa, Elon Local News.
North Carolina law says a person commits human trafficking when they hold another person or minor in involuntary servitude or sexual servitude. To expand on the recent human trafficking case after these arrests and these issues as a whole, our Victoria Chapa has how the police force was in action. North Carolina law says a person commits human trafficking when they hold another person in involuntary servitude or sexual servitude. However, according to Alamance for Freedom, North Carolina ranks 8th out of 50 states in human trafficking activity. According to the North Carolina Governor's Crime Commission, the state is a prime target for trafficking rings due to 3 major interstates running through the state, making transportation of victims easy.
This afternoon, the Alamance County School Board met for their first meeting since the election. 2 of the newly elected school board members, Allison Gant and 1979 Elon grad Mark Payne, were present at the meeting. They will be sworn in December 1st. Our Carissa Parent attended the meeting. Carissa, what happened today?
Thanks, guys. Well, it didn't seem too positive. The focus reviewing the financial statement reports from the 2014 fiscal year. Through review of those statements, 3 violations were issued. First, the school board's auditor found that a second-grade teacher in Alamance County was being paid from special education funds. However, that teacher isn't special education qualified or even teaching a special education class. Second, the report found that the board was over budget by $31,680, meaning they have to cut costs for the next year. And third, a violation of state grant checks. In June, the school board wrote a check for new computers and software, but the computers weren't received the same day the check was written, which breaks the rules on how the grants must be used. From these 3 violations, 3 different corrective action plans are already in place. Looking ahead, the board will focus the remainder of the year on finding a new superintendent to be hired in April.
Everybody's time comes. My time has come. I feel good about it, so I'm ready to roll.
Executive Vice President Dr. Jerry Francis is planning to retire in May after spending more than 40 years at the university.
I'm going to retire when I think I'm still productive.
Francis assures us that he will still be a part of the Elon community. The difference for Francis is
It's so nice to know that I don't have a pile of work waiting for me at home. That's going to be the difference.
the only thing Francis plans to do besides playing golf and relaxing is spending more quality time with his grandkids.
I like to take them to school. I like to take them to their practices. I like to get them on bikes and we ride campus.
Now, Francis told that exclusively through our Elon local election coverage, and we received a statement from Dr. Stephen House, provost of the university today, on Francis's retirement. He says, quote, Dr. Francis has been an incredible gift to Elon for the last 30-some years. Phenomenal teacher, one of the major factors that Elon is where it is today. He is one of the reasons I came to Elon 14 years ago. For now, we'll still see Francis around campus at least until May. Gary?
Thanks, Carissa. Some students are breathing a sigh of relief today, while some are still nervous about their upcoming registration times. We're right in the middle of pre-registration for winter term and spring semester, which continues until Wednesday. If you haven't registered already, you can find your scheduled time on OnTrack. This semester is the first time you can check your class locations the moment you register.
Student entrepreneurs are smiling today. The Student Government Association is now making an investment in them with the introduction of the Acorn Fund. Our Paul LeBlanc tells us what the initiative is and how SGA is giving money to business-minded students.
The Acorn Fund. It's a new program giving student entrepreneurs money to jumpstart their ideas. The Student Government Association unanimously approved the legislation, which will create a $200,000 fund this spring. The money for the Acorn Fund will come from the SGA's annual budget. SGA President Joe Corvia says the idea has been a year in the making.
Just a way for people to collaborate around an idea, and the Acorn Fund will provide that little jump, that little kickstart. And so it's in a sense a way for students to be able to just pursue their dreams, to pursue some great ideas that they have, and start something great.
Any student can submit a proposal, but only 2 students per year will be picked. SGA will then give each student a couple $1,000s to invest in their project.
Just having the money to bootstrap a business and learn how to do that and use the money efficiently is such a valuable skill.
It's a quality investment in their future, I think.
Sophomore class president Kyle Porro, who drafted the Acorn Fund legislation, says that the program fits in perfectly with ELN's model of engaged learning.
One of the biggest parts of an ELN education is just being engaged with not only your actual studies, but then taking that and doing something with that and taking that to the outside world. And the Acorn Fund is that perfect bridge between the two.
Porro hopes that this fund will inspire students to invest in their own ideas.
Really just take a chance. And if this seems at all interesting, maybe exciting, maybe fun, this could really do a lot of good things for students. So take a chance.
Paul LeBlanc, ELN Local News.
You see and hear the construction every day outside the fence. I'm Megan Huffman, and I'm here to give you the exclusive first look of the new admissions building.
I'm so pissed about this.
That's how the men's soccer team felt after their weekend loss. Later, we'll share more post-game reactions.
Less than 10 miles away from ELN's campus, a little-known battleground made a large impact on American history.
You've seen the bricks go up for months, and now our Megan Huffman takes you on an exclusive first look inside the new admission center.
30,000 square feet. Financial planning, student welcome center, theater, it's all coming.
The new admissions building, I think, is going to be an amazing first introduction to ELN. You'll drive in from the north, you'll see the building in the park, and you walk into this amazing building.
Construction officials say that the building is on track to be completed in January, but a look inside shows that there's still a lot of work to be done. The main entrance to the building is the Nugent Atrium. This is where the reception rooms are located and where tours for visitors will start. The admissions video will play in brand new theaters the building features. The Clohan Theater is an auditorium that will seat up to 150 people, while the Weissenberger presentation room will seat more than 50 people. The offices and conference rooms are still largely under construction. After construction is complete, the Student Professional Development Center and other offices will fill the current admission spaces in Mosley.
There's always excitement for prospective students to see a university that's growing and providing new spaces for their students. So I think that's going to definitely encourage more students choosing to come to ELN.
Although the admissions building might be new, it wouldn't be complete without an old ELN staple, oak trees. Megan Huffman, ELN Local News.
With Veterans Day tomorrow, we'd like to recognize the rich military history in Alamance County. So I took a trip to learn more about a historic site just down the road that honors veterans every day. Serving the past for all people. That's what Bill Thompson strives to do every day at the Alamance Battleground.
This is where the Battle of Alamance took place on May 16, 1771.
And if you've ever wondered where Alamance County got its name, you can take a trip back to where it all began.
This county got named after this battle when it was created in 1849.
Thompson is a 1986 ELN graduate whose love for history brought him to the Alamance Battleground.
Some people have tried to make the Battle of Alamance out to be the first battle of the American Revolution.
While the Alamance Battleground will be closed this week for Veterans Day, Thompson feels the site honors troops more than one day a year.
We feel like we honor veterans every day. We talk about the men who fought here.
Having spent the last 11 years working at the Alamance Battleground, Thompson has come in contact with many servicemen and women.
And I've talked to people that's been all over the world, Afghanistan, Iraq. I've talked to people who's done 4 tours of duty.
He enjoys giving special tours to those who have served.
Sometimes I give them a little longer tour than I would some others. Let them do things we don't normally let other people do.
Thompson says he's proud to share this history of the battleground with veterans every day. Make sure to tune in to ELN Morning tomorrow at 9:50, where I'll have the story of an ELN employee who served in the military. Celebrate Veterans Day tomorrow, both on and off campus. A special college coffee is set for Corey Business Center. A table will be set up for students to write thank you notes to veterans. The celebration will move indoors at 10:45 a.m. for a Veterans Day observance ceremony in La Rose Digital Theater. Off campus in Graham tomorrow, Alamance County will host a Veterans Day parade at 1 p.m. The parade starts at the corner of College Street and North Main Street. These dancers set out to revamp their annual showcase. How they did it after this.
Just as an athlete, I felt like I had the physical ability to do it.
An ELN senior is juggling being a full-time student and a varsity athlete. Find out what uniform she puts on when she takes off the Phoenix jersey. This weekend, ELN's Department of Performing Arts showcased a mix of faculty, student, and guest choreographers. Miriam Lopez-Rosales shares how the team made the annual Dancing in the Black Box production jive this year.
Modern, there's contemporary ballet, there's more theatrical pieces.
These are all elements senior Heather Sandler says make up Dancing in the Black Box. Sandler was assistant director for the event hosted by ELN Dance Company this weekend. One of the dancers, sophomore Galen Schneider, says this type of show was designed to create more intimacy between performer and audience.
It really allows the audience a chance to be, right up and close and personal with the dancers, and really allows them to get into the feel of the dance and be there for that experience.
With a push to make Dancing in the Black Box better, Heather Sandler says there's been a focus on adding more student performances.
We usually have maybe 3 works, but we have 6 tonight. And I think that really is a great way to broadcast our program because it represents us really supporting all of the students.
30 students were cast in the production. Sandler says they've spent months preparing for the show.
Because everyone loves to perform, so you really try to do your best.
After preparing for his roles in September, Schneider was ready to perform and add his touch to the show.
So what I kind of do is, kind of get in that mindset and just kind of bring my own little flair and personality into that. Give a little eyebrow,
Miriam Lopez-Rosales, ELN Local News.
Balancing athletics, school, and fighting fires. Brianna Eck introduces us to Allie Quintana.
It's definitely an adrenaline rush when we get a call and I'm riding on the truck and the sirens are going and we're running red lights. I mean, that's always cool.
Senior Allie Quintana knew she wanted to be at the firehouse to complete her Human Services major internship.
I talked to Professor Miller and he was like, "What do you want to do with your life?" And I was like, "I'll be a firefighter."
Quintana says her father inspired her to chase after this career.
I remember ever since I was little, my dad would always talk about how he should have been a firefighter. And just as an athlete, I felt like I had the physical ability to do it.
But not all family members are on board with her career aspirations.
My grandmother is not fond of the idea and every day convinces me to just do medical. And I'm like, no, sorry, Abuela, I'm not gonna.
It is a training that Quintana learned in this park that will help her in her ultimate goal.
Well, we're constantly in the weight room and conditioning, doing all kinds of running. As an athlete, you just have to stay in shape. You have to stay in shape. And that's kind of how it is here. You constantly have to stay in shape.
This is the first time an ELN student has ever done an internship with the Burlington Fire Department. And Quintana says she's thankful for the opportunity.
As a firefighter, you have your bad days where you can't always help someone. But, I think the good days outweigh those days.
She says her coworkers have supported her every day, and she looks forward to becoming an official firefighter after graduation.
They all love it, and they say it's the best job in the world. So I'm just really excited.
Brianna Eck, ELN Local News.
Quintana's internship lasts through mid-December, and she'll then go on to take her firefighter's exam after graduation in the spring.
Their goal of conference champions. ELN men's soccer might be hanging out their cleats for good after missing their goal of conference champions. Our sports anchor, Jacob LaPlante, will be here after the break to tell us more.
I'm Jacob LaPlante here for your weekly sports update. The ELN men's soccer team will continue training until they hear official word that their season is over a week from today. This coming after a disappointing 2-0 loss at the CAA quarterfinals Saturday night.
3, 2, 1, 0.
It was a game ELN was favored to win, but poor execution and missed opportunities plagued the Phoenix in a 2-0 loss to Northeastern Saturday night, a match that left senior Jason Waterman outraged.
Just pissed. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Just disappointed. I mean, I think we did everything but we possibly could but score.
With the loss, Elon's season may have come to an end, but Little believes his team did just enough to earn an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament, which goes to teams that didn't win their conference tournament title.
We're still in the mix for an at-large bid. It's going to be very tight for us. We're certainly hopeful we'll get one.
If ELN doesn't get a bid, Saturday's loss was the final appearance for the seniors.
To go out like this, I mean, we don't know that we're out, but even if we miraculously make the NCAA tournament, I'm still pissed about this.
The ELN men's basketball team is 4 days away from making their debut in Alumni Gym. Our Andrew Feather checked in with what's ahead for the Phoenix this season.
It's out with the old and in with the new during this transition year for the men's basketball team. Gone is the Southern Conference and 4 of the most successful players in school history. In is the Colonial Athletic Association and 5 new freshmen.
This is a brand new team. And we've been saying it in the preseason and saying it, and it's true, but we're going to play differently.
Despite the influx of talent, the CAA preseason poll projected the Phoenix to finish last in the 10-team league. But Coach Matt Matheny has a plan.
So we have to rebound as a team. This team will have to rely on guard rebound.
With all the changes to the team comes a new team motto.
Our message all year is pound the rock, so we're going to keep on pounding until we get that first crack in the rock.
Coach Matheny believes one of ELN's biggest strengths this season is its talented roster from top to bottom. This will allow him to constantly rotate players and keep his team rested.
I like being able to say, hey, give me some fresh legs out there.
The incoming freshman class includes guards Elijah Bryant and Dimitri Thompson and 6'8" forward Jack Anton.
I do think that some of our freshmen will play. I think Elijah will play, Meach will play, and Jack Anton will play.
Matheny will also get help from guards Austin Hamilton and Tanner Sampson, the team's only 2 players to start at least 20 games last season. Andrew Feather, ELN Local News.
ELN tips off its regular season Friday at 8 p.m. against Florida Atlantic as part of a doubleheader with the women's team. The women play Friday at 5 p.m. against Anderson University. Senior cross-country runner Luis Vargas is prepping to make ELN sports history this week. After winning the CAA championship last week, Vargas qualified for the NCAA Southeast Regional Championships this Saturday in Louisville, Kentucky. Kentucky. At the conference championship, Vargas set a school record, finishing the 8K in 24 minutes and 11 seconds, becoming the CAA championship in the first CAA championship in ELN history. That's it for sports this week. For continuing updates, be sure to follow ELN Sports on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Gary and Jasmine, back to you guys.
Thanks for joining us for ELN Local News today.
Catch ELN Morning tomorrow morning with Ashley McGettrick and Paige Peroso at 9:50 a.m. on Campus Channel 5 and online.
And we're always online at elonlocalnews.com.
Oh, that's good.